You, but we're waiting on Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Do you want Aaron Rodgers back as your quarterback?
Definitely. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't.
Art Rooney, the president of the Steelers, essentially said they would like an answer before the draft.
There hasn't been any deadline set on me.
The Steelers placed a rarely used unrestricted free agent tender on Aaron Rodgers.
If Aaron would choose to go to another team, we are eligible for a comp pick.
If I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I'm tired of this dancing pony show. Like, we keep doing this over and over and over again.
As only Booger McFarland can say. And we welcome you to NFL Live. We're so glad you're with us. Phil Yates, Lewis Redick, and our Steelers reporter, Brooke Pryor, is here. That's where we're going to start today. Shocker, we're starting on the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. In Pittsburgh, the Steelers are still waiting to hear from Aaron Rodgers on whether he'll be back for another season. At this point, it's been everything but straightforward, right? A timeline that once felt pretty clear is now shifted into a drawn-out waiting game. Yet again, we're familiar with this. Brooke, we thought this might be wrapped up before the draft. There was talk about that. Now here we are. Where does this leave Pittsburgh with how they're adjusting to Rodgers being undecided?
Well, I mean, they're moving forward with what they have in the quarterback room right now, and that's Drew Aller, Mason Rudolph, and Will Howard. We have rookie minicamp coming up this week. That's the first time that we'll see Drew Aller on the field. We know Will Howard was taking the first team reps at their, it was their first voluntary minicamp before the draft when Aaron Rodgers wasn't there. And there was a little bit of buzz about that, like, oh, does that mean that Will Howard is QB1? No, it means that they're trying to get a look at him. They're trying to see what he has, because remember, he missed essentially his entire rookie year. When he's on IR, he can't be on the field. Mike McCarthy has only seen tape of him. He liked what he saw in the national championship game, but they're kind of having to play with what they have here, because here's the thing. Putting the UFA tender on Aaron Rodgers means that he can still sign anywhere else between now and the start of training camp. They get a comp pick if he does. Once training camp starts, he can only sign with the Steelers. But until then, he can go wherever he wants, and this is an insurance policy. And the thing about Aaron Rodgers is that you never know what he's going to do. It very well could have agitated him that he had this tender placed on him, because he feels like, hey, I gave you guys my word that you'll know when you know and to trust me, and this action says, I don't know that we trust you 100%.
If Aaron's out there watching right now, take as long as you need. It's good for content, right? Certainly helps.
Yeah. And not my mental health.
Yeah,
slow time right
maybe
now.
Maybe not great for Brooke, but we'll take it on the NFL Live front. That much is for sure. And I think for Aaron, like, let's be clear, for a guy that's been in the league for nearly 20 years, more than 20 years now, or close to it, I should say. Like, the difference between your 1,000th and your 1,001st practice is there is no difference, right? He doesn't need these reps right now, but I do think this Pittsburgh Steelers team under a new head coach is probably saying to itself, it's not going to decide our season whether we have Aaron Rodgers available for some or all of OTAs or maybe even our eventual mandatory minicamp. But it would be nice, right? This was not exactly an offensive juggernaut last season. They have some new pieces, including rookie offensive tackle Maxi Iheanacho, a veteran wide receiver, and Michael Pittman Jr. They're going to figure into the mix here. That being said, I fully expect Aaron Rodgers to do this on his own timeline. He has so far this offseason, Laura. No reason for me to think that this UFA tender or the pressure of OTAs or the idea that someone might call him out for not being there during OTAs is going to influence Aaron Rodgers. He will decide whenever he is ready.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't care. Lewis, let's live in a world where it were some of the other quarterbacks on the roster that Brooke was talking about. Do you think going with any of those guys would be a better move for the Steelers?
I mean, you can't really make that determination because you don't know what they are. You don't know what they are at the pro level. And so now, would I theoretically want to do that instead of playing this game all the time and being stuck in this quarterback no man's land, this quarterback's purgatory, and being, I don't want to say held hostage, but basically having your whole offense centered around what Aaron Rodgers feels like he's going to want to do from year to year? No, of course not. I mean, this is bizarro land with this football team, with this position and this player in particular. And that's not trying to be disrespectful to him. But look, what I want to see, what Will Howard has, if he was given the majority of the reps, able to develop some chemistry with the first team offense, learning this new system. Would I want to see what Drew Aller looks like if I'm Mike McCarthy? I mean, he's the one who drafted him. He's the one who said, yeah, he's worthy of being a third-round selection. Yeah, he's a guy who a lot of people feel as though has the big arm and has really good highlight plays and really good, upper-level type plays, but then the lower-level type of plays just leave you scratching your head. Yeah, I'd want to see what we got. No, I don't think the Steelers should just go ahead and say, hey, you know what? We don't care what the season looks like. We're going to point towards 2027, see if we can address it then. But I would want to see what I have instead of playing this game year after year after year.
No, you're 100% right, Lewis. And the thing is, yes, Drew Aller does have a really big arm. And it's interesting because there's a chance that Mike McCarthy's going to have to, not even a chance, he will have to develop Will Howard and Drew Aller at the same time. And that could be a challenge because, yes, Will Howard was drafted a year ago, but he still essentially redshirted that year. And Mike McCarthy said, look, the only challenge there is the CBA and the amount of time that we have to work with these guys. But Drew Aller, I think, does have a lot of the intangibles that Mike McCarthy wants. He is a big quarterback. He has big hands. He's played in cold conditions. He's played championship-level football, not all the time, but he has that experience. So there's a lot to like there, but he's just got to get him out on the field.
Yeah. All right, Brooke, you continue your Aaron Rodgers watch. We appreciate your time here. Thanks for being with us. And we'll keep an eye on it, folks. Let's talk about the Giants now. It's only been a few months, and we're already seeing the Harbaugh effect in action. Giants making offensive improvements like Isaiah Likely and Darnell Mooney. New York and Pro Bowl tackle Dexter Lawrence couldn't agree on things, so the Giants traded him to the Bengals for the 10th overall pick in the draft. That gave them 2 top 10 picks, and they did the most with it, right? The Giants landed Ohio State linebacker Arvell Reese with the 5th pick and offensive tackle Francis Maui-Noa at number 10, hoping to improve that O-line for Jackson Dart. And then yesterday, the Giants trying to replace some of Lawrence's production with former Lions D-tackle DJ Reader, who signed a 2-year deal. Reader started all 17 games for Detroit last season. Field, we've gotten a glimpse of how John Harbaugh is starting to shape this team, or you kind of see his fingerprints all over it. So where does this go next, especially when it comes to defining the offense?
Yeah, Laura, I thought by the end of last season, maybe Jackson Dart's play had been underappreciated. There were some moments last year that were upper tier for not just a rookie quarterback, but just a quarterback in general. Went to Denver, had that team, a Denver defense that was playing dominant football, looking completely confused for about 3.5 quarters. They had the epic fourth quarter collapse. But I am most curious to see how this offense deploys Jackson Dart as a runner. On the one hand, there was so much conversation about last year when Jackson, on 4 separate occasions, had to leave a game to be evaluated. Now, he returned in 3 of those 4 instances. One time he did not return. He missed time due to a concussion. On the other hand, he's one of the most gifted running quarterbacks that we have in the league. He had 9 rushing touchdowns last season, and John Harbaugh's been living in Lamar Jackson's world for the past 6-7 years now. So I do think the Giants are going to find a way to tap into what Jackson can do as a scrambler, while also being mindful that we know what the offense looks like without him, because last year without Jackson Dart, this team, it didn't have a great chance when Jackson was on the field, given their record last season, but they were just completely dead to rights when they didn't have Jackson Dart on that offensive field.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis, that's the whole conundrum here, right? Like, how do you keep the greatness of Jackson Dart, his legs specifically, but also balance keeping him healthy? What would your recommendation be when you look at what this offense can look like?
Yeah, I think it'll be very run-centric, and I think that's going to be something that, you know, John Harbaugh really does communicate to Matt Nagy, the new offensive coordinator.